में
Good morning. You're watching News for Hearing Impaired. I'm Preeti. With me is Meera. First, the headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to hold a meeting with state chief ministers today via video conference. This will be the fifth meeting of the Prime Minister with state chief ministers since the outbreak of COVID-19 pandemic. Indian Railways to resume select passenger services from tomorrow. Booking for these to open from 4 p.m. onwards today and will only be available through the IRCTC website. Railways Minister says Railways is fully geared up to run 300 Shramik special trains every day. India's massive evacuation mission Vande Bharat continues to bring back countrymen from across the world. Indians stranded in UK, Kuwait, Philippines and Riyadh brought back. Active COVID-19 cases across the nation rise to 41,472 with 19,357 recoveries and 2,109 fatalities. Union Health Minister says recovery rate is over 30%, while mortality rates continue to be around 3.3%, which are very good indicators. National Institute of Virology develops first indigenous Elisa test kit for COVID-19. Unconfirmed cases across the world crosses grim milestone on 40 lakh with over 2.8 lakh fatalities. US worst affected with over 79,000 deaths. British Prime Minister says no end to the country's lockdown, but some measures will be eased. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be holding a meeting via video conferencing with all the chief ministers at 3 p.m. today. Now, this will be his fifth meeting with the chief ministers. Prime Minister Modi on various occasions has emphasized on the need to work in close cooperation between states and the centre to overcome the COVID-19 challenge. The last meeting was held on April 27th. This will be their first meeting after many states relaxed several restrictions. Indian Railways has announced the much-awaited decision of reopening the passenger train operations. Indian Railways will restart its passenger operation in a gradual manner from tomorrow. The operations will initially reopen with 15 pairs of trains. These trains will run as special trains from New Delhi station connecting Dibrugarh, Agartala, Howrah, Patna, Bilaspur, Ranchi, Bhubaneswar, Secunderabad, Bengaluru, Chennai, Thiruvananthapuram, Madgaon, Mumbai Central, Ahmedabad and Jammu Tawi. Indian Railways will also start special services on new routes based on the available coaches after reserving 20,000 coaches for COVID-19 care centres. An adequate number of coaches being reserved to enable operation of up to 300 trains every day as Shramik special for stranded migrants. Booking for reservation in these trains will start at 4 p.m. today and will be available only on the IRCTC website. It must be strictly noted that ticket booking counters at the railway stations shall remain closed and no counter tickets, including platform tickets, shall be issued. People are therefore urged not to spread rumours and gather at railway stations unnecessarily. Only passengers with valid confirmed tickets will be allowed to enter the railway stations. It will be mandatory for the passengers to wear face covers and undergo screening at departure, and only asymptomatic passengers will be allowed to board the train. Indian Railways has operated 350 Shramik special trains till yesterday across the country. There were around 1,200 passengers travelling in each of these Shramik special trains. Of the total, 263 trains had reached their destinations, while 87 trains are in transit. These trains ferried passengers to various states including Andhra Pradesh, Bihar, Himachal Pradesh, Jharkhand, Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, Odisha, Rajasthan, Telangana, Uttar Pradesh and West Bengal. Trains being run by railways only after concurrence is given both by the state which is sending the passengers and the state which is receiving them. Proper screening of passengers is ensured before boarding the train. Also, passengers are being given free meals and water, and social distancing is being strictly observed in all the trains. Indian Railways has converted 5,231 coaches into COVID care centres to strengthen the fight against COVID-19. 215 railway stations have been identified for placement of COVID care centres. Over 2,500 doctors and 35,000 paramedic staff has been deployed. 5,000 beds are ready for any contingency. Railways is producing its own PPEs to protect the frontline workers. It will also take care of water, electricity, catering and security of the centres. The world's largest evacuation operation to bring back stranded Indian nationals from different countries under Vande Bharat mission is going on smoothly. Civil Aviation Minister Hardeep Singh Puri has said that untiring efforts of Air India and Air India Express and the Ministry of External Affairs and our missions keep mission Vande Bharat flying high. Yesterday, 1,239 Indians were flown back on 6 flights from Doha, London, Singapore, Riyadh, Kuwait and Kuala Lumpur. More flights are on the way. The latest flight to arrive with Indian nationals was the first Air India special flight from the US. 225 Indians were brought from San Francisco to Mumbai. Indians also safely came back from London with 323 stranded Indians on board. Air India flight landed in Bengaluru. Indian nationals also returned home through Air India flight from Manila, the capital of Philippines. The flight landed in Mumbai. Air India flight with 139 passengers also arrived from Riyadh. The flight landed in Delhi. Late yesterday night, Air India Express flight landed in Kochi from Kuala Lumpur. It landed at around 10:17 p.m. with 177 passengers and 2 infants. Before that, at around 9:30 p.m., flight from Kuwait landed in Chennai. 167 passengers and 4 infants safely returned from Kuwait. The government is also undertaking Operation Samudra Setu to evacuate Indians through Indian naval ships. INS Magar, the second Indian naval ship to reach Malé in Maldives for evacuation of Indian citizens, has left from there. The ship is expected to take 48 hours to reach India. A total of 202 persons are on board the ship, which includes 24 women, 2 expectant mothers and 2 children. One of the men, who hails from Tamil Nadu, has a fractured leg. As per the procedure, the evacuees were screened medically, their baggage disinfected and were allotted IDs as per various zones earmarked on board the ship. Indian High Commissioner to Maldives, Sanjay Sudhir, said the evacuation exercise will continue in the coming days under Vande Bharat mission. India has sent its naval ship Kesari to Maldives, Mauritius, Madagascar, Comoros, and Seychelles on a request for assistance in dealing with COVID-19 pandemic. INS Kesari carries on board 2 medical assistance teams, consignments of COVID-related essential medicines and food items. It will deliver consignments of COVID-related essential medicines to Mauritius, Madagascar, Comoros and Seychelles, and about 600 tons of food items to Maldives. In addition, in case of Mauritius, a special consignment of Ayurvedic medicines is also being sent. The consignments meant for Madagascar and Comoros also include hydroxychloroquine tablets, which have already been sent earlier to Mauritius, Maldives and Seychelles. The medical assistance teams will be deployed in Mauritius and Comoros, helping their governments deal with COVID emergency and dengue fever too in case of Comoros. And the government has issued guidelines for quarantine of returnees from abroad who are being evacuated under Vande Bharat mission. Quarantine and isolation facilities must be separated and should be based on paid basis with all facilities available for them. Government also ordered facility owners to fix the charges with consultation of the states and also asked them to follow all norms established for COVID care centers. The government also advised that only pre-symptomatic patients should be kept in isolation facility and they must give undertaking on the website of Health Ministry. According to the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, active COVID-19 cases across the nation have risen to 41,472 with 19,357 recoveries, while 2,109 fatalities have been recorded. Union Health Minister Dr. Harshvardhan said that the situation in India is improving as it fights against COVID-19 and many people have been sent to their homes after successful recovery from the disease. He said that the recovery rate due to COVID-19 is more than 30% in the country now, while mortality rate continues to be around 3.3%.
तो पिछले 3 दिन का हमारा जो डबलिंग रेट है वो 12 है। हमारा जो रिकवरी रेट है वो हमारा आज 30% से ऊपर पहुंच गया है। 60,000 में से लगभग 20,000 जो हमारे मरीज़ हैं वो ठीक होकर वापस अपने घरों में चले गए हैं और हमारा जो मोर्टेलिटी रेट है वो अभी भी केवल 3.3% बना हुआ है। यद्यपि एक भी मृत्यु होती है तो वो बहुत कष्टदायक होती है। पिछले 24 घंटे में 10 हमारे स्टेट्स और यूनियन टेरिटरीज ऐसे हैं देश में जहां एक भी केस नहीं आया है।
National Institute of Virology, Pune, has successfully developed the first indigenous anti-SARS CoV-2 human Elisa kit for antibody detection of COVID-19. Now, this robust test will play a critical role in surveillance of proportion of population exposed to SARS-CoV-2 infection. This kit is being validated at 2 sites in Mumbai and has high sensitivity and accuracy. Besides, it has the advantage of testing 90 samples together in a single run of 2.5 hours so that healthcare professionals can proceed quickly with necessary next steps on their patients' triage paths. ELISA-based testing is possible even at district level. The National Institute of Virology's technique has been transferred to Zydus and Cadila for mass-scale production. The Drug Controller General has granted commercial production and marketing permission to Zydus. National Technology Day is being celebrated today with focus on rebooting the economy through science and technology. In the COVID-19 crisis, technology has been at the forefront of the battle against the pandemic. Keeping in mind the need of the hour to formulate a comprehensive action plan to reboot the economy, Ministry of Science and Development will organize a high-level digital conference on rebooting the economy through science, technology and research translations titled Restart. The conference will bring together scientists, technocrats, government officials, diplomats, WHO officials and dignitaries from national and international industry. The Union Minister for Science and Technology, Dr. Harshvardhan, will be the chief guest for the occasion. Conference will be focused to evolve technological, including medical advance and manufacturing techniques and technologies that would prepare India for the post-COVID-19 time. Coronavirus cases continue to increase worldwide, with over 41 lakh confirmed cases being recorded, while fatalities have risen to over 2.82 lakh, while 14 lakh people have recovered. The worst affected remains United States, recording 776 COVID-19 deaths in the last 24 hours. The US now has an overall death toll of 79,625 with more than 13 lakh positive infections. Total number of people recovered in the country crosses 2 lakh mark. Vice President Mike Pence went in for self-isolation after an aide tested positive for coronavirus last week. Pence has repeatedly tested negative for COVID-19 since his exposure, but will be following the advice of medical officials. Meanwhile, New York State announced new rules dictating procedures for senior care facilities in the state. All nursing homes in New York State will be required to test staff twice a week for the virus. Further, New York mandated hospitals cannot discharge a COVID-19 patient to a nursing home until the person has tested negative for the disease. British Prime Minister Boris Johnson has unveiled a conditional plan to reopen society, allowing people in England to spend more time outdoors from Wednesday. In his address to the nation, the UK Prime Minister characterized his plan as a cautious balance between keeping new infections down while easing the economic burden the pandemic has had on millions in the United Kingdom. Johnson called on people across the UK to return to work if they cannot do so from home, but avoid public transport. However, schools and non-essential shops will remain shut in England until at least June. Johnson said a new COVID alert system with 5 levels would govern how quickly lockdown restrictions could be eased. Meanwhile, Wales, Scotland and Northern Ireland have extended their lockdowns to May 28th. The officials from all the 3 nations said that there had been no coordination between their governments and Downing Street over the new messaging, and they would continue to spread the stay-home message among their own people. UK registered 31,930 COVID deaths with more than 2,20,000 positive cases. Spain registered its lowest daily number of coronavirus deaths on Sunday since mid-March, as half of its population prepared for an easing of one of Europe's strictest lockdowns. The overall deaths rose to 26,621 and the number of COVID-19 cases rose to 2,24,350. Restaurants carried out preparations ahead of reopening their outdoor areas and progressing on phase 1 of a 4-step easing plan of one of Europe's strictest lockdowns. Although cyclists, joggers and walkers, many in face masks, packed bridges and streets around Madrid Rio Park as the park itself remained closed. But Madrid, Barcelona and other cities including Valencia, Malaga and Granada will remain in phase O, much to the annoyance of regional governments struggling with economic implications of a prolonged lockdown. Deaths from COVID-19 epidemic in Italy rose by 165 on Sunday, as the total death toll since the outbreak came to light on February 21st now stands at 30,560. This is the third highest in the world after that of United States and Britain, as the country started to gradually lift restrictions the government had imposed in early March to contain the outbreak. allowing people to leave their homes more freely and companies to reopen. In this connection, Prime Minister Conte said that he may further ease Italy's lockdown earlier than planned, while urging the European Union to ensure that resources from a new recovery fund are available in the second half of the year to help the country's devastated economy. Italy partially eased the lockdown on May 4th, allowing manufacturing and construction companies to restart, with shops due to reopen on May 18th. Bars, restaurants and barbers are scheduled to begin operating again on June 1st, a date that may be brought forward. France registered 70 new COVID-19 deaths, which was the lowest daily toll since mid-March, while the number of patients in the ICUs kept falling. A total of 22,569 patients with COVID-19 were in hospitals, which was down by 45 in the last 24 hours, while out of those hospitalized, 2,776 people received intensive treatment. The total number of confirmed cases reached 1,77,094 after a single daily rise of 209. Despite positive signs, the government urged people to remain mobilized to help stem the virus circulation by respecting barrier gestures and social distancing. France would start easing restrictions on the movement from today, but will initially impose a 100 kilometers travel restriction on people inside the red zone COVID-19 hotspots. Meanwhile, UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson and French President Emmanuel Macron agreed in a joint statement to closely coordinate all coronavirus measures, noting that travellers from France would be exempted from a compulsory quarantine in the UK at the current stage. Earlier, on the eve of an easing of measures to combat COVID-19, Paris authorities projected portraits of frontline workers who have kept the city going during its 2-month lockdown at Eiffel Tower on Sunday. The pictures, visible on a screen suspended below the monument, were accompanied by a banner reading, "Thank goodness you were there." Among those featured in the display were carers, teachers, shop workers, delivery personnel and municipal workers. A pianist in Brazil found a unique way to celebrate Mother's Day in quarantine. Musician Rodrigo Cunha and his piano took an elevated route in downtown Sao Paulo, playing music for quarantine mothers. Wearing a face shield and riding atop a modified flatbed truck, he was moving on a highway, weaving through graffiti-covered buildings that has become a symbol of city's urban grit. The musician says that this is one of the few ways he can serenade the region's mothers, many of whom are forced to pass this Mother's Day without their children or grandchildren. And after being shut for more than 3 months, Shanghai Disneyland is pulling all stops ahead of the reopen today. The temperature screening station is ready. Disney staff were pasting social distancing markers in the queue and disinfecting the facilities. Visitors have to purchase admission tickets for selected dates, and annual pass holders have to make a reservation before coming. The Chinese government has asked Disney to cap attendance of the reopened park at 30% of the capacity, or roughly around 24,000 people. But Disney is planning to open the park far below that capacity to try out new safeguards. Disney has closed its theme parks in the US, Disneyland and Walt Disney World, until further notice. That's it in this edition of the news this hour. Thanks for watching. Namaskar.